Well, hello there. It's another month. In fact, it's a kind of a significant month to me, January 2020. Doing this here for you in late November. Just finished a light lunch. The camera is reversed. We'll check on this. So I have to look away to make any adjustments because everything's reversed and I look to be more of a senior citizen than I actually am. I wanted to talk to you about the article that I've written for January 2020. A lot of you look at the video well before the article. I don't know how much sense it makes, but you're welcome to have a look. I'm just going to put this whole concept at the end of my article. I think that I'm going to try, without meaning to offend anyone else, to develop a way to review equipment as I have equipment that I feel qualified to review. This suit that I'm wearing, and I'll tell you the name, Guardian B apparel. It's really worked out well for me. Had it now for well over a year, and there's been some new modifications that I like even better, zipper design and whatever. I get no kickback. I get no money. So I've used the suit now for a short 2 years. I love this feature of it. You can take a phone call, back away, get things going. You can have a drink of a drink. You can just go away and take a break, and then you zip them back up. Can't deny now, you got to find the zippers, and I told you everything's reversed, so don't worry about that. But I don't want to offend the other B supply manufacturers and the other suit makers who make perfectly good suits too. But I've had good luck with this suit, and I thought I would just mention that. Next month, I plan to go over all the suit. I think there's 4 or 5 that I do use on a basis, depending on what I'm trying to do. So this is the last in this month's article, the last subject. When I'm sitting here with the zip-on open-up veil, look kind of goofy. Right now it's 35, 40 outside, kind of rainy, foggy. Would not be a good time to go back to the bee yard and try to do anything there. So I'm stuck in this format here. I'd rather be outside. I've asked myself this month, and I've asked you, do beekeepers manage mites now as much as they manage bees? And I ask that because 2020 is all over us. I've been dinking around with Varroa since 1984. It's the first time I remember seeing mites in Ohio State University bees, 1984. And they've changed. I mean, in 1984, 85, 86, they just killed everything. So now you can live for a while, but you're going to die if the bees are, if you don't do something. So I'm thinking that if you don't manage mites first, then everything else is kind of unimportant. The only thing that throws a loop in that wrench of a discussion that I have for this month is that I have taken honey off of colonies that were powerful colonies and produced a bit of a honey crop and then died from a Varroa bomb that went off and took them out. And I mentioned the fact that I'm hard-headed. I'm of the age. I knew bees before. I know that Varroa is here to stay, but I knew bees before. And while I can accept the reality of it, I just can't kill that memory. So I discussed that for a while as I went through the article. And I've been made aware, and I was aware anyway, but it's been kind of with numbers and a specific discussion that's tough on new beekeepers. The whole concept of managing bees, getting queens to accept it, and starting out with really so little to work with, no drawn comb, feeders having to be filled all the time. It's tough on a new beekeeper. So I understand that in many cases, just in a year or two, something like 80% of the beekeepers are gone that were just in bees for about 2 years. I'm going to tinker with that some next summer, but I'm not prepared to go into that now. But when do you tell new beekeepers about the realities of Varroa? It's toughy. In fact, I couldn't answer the question in my article. If you tell them real soon, you'll scare them to death. First time I saw killer bees in Venezuela, and really how aggressive and they could really come after you. I don't know how to describe it. So when I came back, I didn't have any video. The pictures were enough until I just had people pulling their hair out. And I had to figure out how to tone that down. And as it worked out, it was good to tone it down because those bees are here. Boy, I'm off the subject on this. Those bees are here, but unless you're where they are, you never hear anything else about them. But having that memory of being too harsh on people when describing Africanized bees to them for the first time, it makes me go slowly now. I mean, if we just dumped all the complexity, the confusion, the viral load on new beekeepers, who in their right mind right now would take that on? And that's wrong. Because most of beekeeping is unaffected. The joy of hiving a swarm, the smells, the sounds, the honey crop coming in, the bees on flowers, the talks you give at kids' schools. Beekeeping's alive and well in oh so many areas, but not in the Varroa mite area. We're hanging on very well, and we're so much better than we were. I think our scientists have done the best job they can to give us Band-Aids and tools to help us get through, but I just want it to go back to the way it was. It's not going to happen. So are we losing too many beekeepers? Looks like we are, but I suspect in reality, maybe losing a bit more, but we've always lost beekeepers. A few minutes ago, I said, well, we lose 80%. Well, look at that the other way. We keep 20%. And 20% growth is not bad if you look at it that way. So at least 20% is staying and going beyond just the first year or two. So if we can grow 20% every year for the next 10 years, that's not horrible. So I guess it all depends if the classic pitcher is half full or half empty. Now all this Varroa talk, I went into a topic that I've tried to discuss before. Now, no doubt we'll try it again because in an odd way, is Varroa a peculiar friend of the beekeeper? Not the bees, but the beekeeper. Because without Varroa, you think we'd have all this interest in beekeeping? If the public did not rightfully and correctly get the news that beekeepers were terribly stressed and routinely losing 40% of their flock every year, and what kind of agricultural endeavor can do that? All those questions are correct. I was younger. That matters a lot. But I only keep 10 colonies now or so, 10, 15. I never want any more than 20, 25. I used to want 400. I used to want to work for a commercial beekeeper who had thousands. But the way many of us have changed, especially those of us who are older, is we keep bees with the same passion. We just keep fewer of them. So I think that adds across the country to the decline to some extent in the beekeeping numbers, beehive numbers. Beekeeping numbers now are pretty solid for the time being. So I mentioned that. So it's odd to say, is Varroa kind of a friend because they brought the public to an understanding of the challenges and stresses of beekeeping that I don't know if we had ever had before. And I posed a hypothetical question. If the scientists today figured out some advanced technical way to abruptly cripple Varroa in our bee colonies, and the word was out, happy days are here, the bees are saved again, would the public move on to another issue and kind of leave beekeeping behind? Or would they stay with us because we're still not getting honey crops, the bees are starving to death, happens all over. We're using too much herbicide and grasses, deserts, and all those kind of things. Or would there be enough residue left for the public still to be concerned? But I bet you that if all of a sudden these mites that were just sucking the blood out of all the country's bees were suddenly stopped from doing that, why wouldn't the public move to somewhere else? So my granddad used to say, be careful what you wish for, you may get it. But that's a hypothetical discussion I just had with you. I don't know. I can't see the complexities of what comes and goes. So I'm rambling too much now. I hope that you read my article. Those are my pain points. Do we manage mites as much as bees? When should mentors explain, if there is a good time ever, to new beekeepers, the challenges of Varroa, and because of that, are we losing too many beekeepers? And in a strange way, is Varroa actually a peculiar kind of friend? And what's going to be next in designer clothes that can make us even more comfortable while we work with hot smokers and stingy bees? I hope you read. Hope you have a look at it. Thanks for watching this video. I know you should have been doing something else, so I deeply appreciate your time, which ironically is more valuable to you than your money. I'll look forward to talking to you next month, and I hope to see you sometime at a meeting or somewhere in the bee world. Thank you so much.